Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, as you can see from the title of this, we are doing another update on Michael Wayne Jones Jr. The detective's notes and the police department's notes on the investigation leading up to the arrest of Michael Wayne Jones Jr. is attached here in the description. If you would like to read all 142 pages of the discovery, I have enclosed the link to it here in the description. 142 pages. If the answers are not there in the 142 pages, I don't know what the answer is. Obviously, in that 142 pages, it's not going to give you an answer of why he did this. Was it a dissociative disorder? Does he have a mental health issue? Beyond that, it's horrific to actually think about this, to read about this, and to have to research cases like this. It will get to you. If you have any conscience or carrying it all for anyone in this world, this case will get to you. So much so, it's pretty horrific when you think about it, because Mr. Watts killed his wife and his two daughters all within 24 hours. Michael Wayne Jones Jr. killed his wife. Then, the next day, after waking up and having breakfast, strangled her two children from another relationship, kept all three dead bodies right there in the house and in the van, then waited over 2 weeks before he killed the other two children. Then went about his life as if nothing had changed at all. So what's in that 142 pages that we're going to learn about Michael Wayne Jones Jr.? July 9th, he got into a verbal argument with his wife, Casei. At that time, Casei picked up the aluminum baseball bat and charged at Michael Wayne Jones Jr. and demanded he answer. Is he having an affair with a woman there in their town? And was he still sleeping with his ex-wife when he went out of town? Was he still sleeping with Sarah Jones? She still uses her married name. Shortly after that argument, Casei put the bat down. And we can probably guess what happened next. Michael Wayne Jones Jr. picked up the bat and beat her to death with it. An aluminum baseball bat. Injuries to her are not listed, but you can figure out what would cause the homicide in short order from a baseball bat. Again, like I said, the following morning, July 10th, he woke up, he had breakfast. Then he strangled with his own bare hands each of her children, one at a time. Starting with the oldest, strangling that child with his bare hands. Then went into the bedroom of the other child and strangled that child to death. Then just went on his day. Doesn't say in the report exactly what he did that day. But We know that he put his wife rolled up in blankets in the minivan, laid her out on the floor of the minivan. The two other children stayed in their room, deceased in their beds. Sometime shortly thereafter, he went to a local store and bought 13 bags of cat litter. He poured the cat litter on the linoleum floor in the kitchen, like hallway entry and dining room, and laid out the dead children on top of the cat litter, and then poured cat litter over the top of it to absorb the liquids that would definitely be leaking from dead children. 2 weeks later, he put his two biological daughters in the vehicle with him, and then went and drove around for hours and hours, trying to gather up enough strength and courage to go into the Summerfield Police Department and confess to what he had done. At one point, by his own admission, he sat across the street, crying inconsolably, praying that an officer would come out and would ask why was he sitting there for so long with two children in the back of that minivan, with his dead wife in the van on the floor. Their mother was dead on the floor in the back of the van while they were strapped into their seats for hours. The smell had to be atrocious because she had been dead for over 2 weeks at that point. No one came out and confronted him. No one came out and talked to him at all. Being the coward that he is, he drove back home and then drowned each of his children one by one in the bathtub, with 4 dead children laying out on the floor in the dining room on the linoleum with cat litter on them. His wife dead, still in the minivan. He just went back to life, doing whatever he wanted to do. Watched whatever he wanted on television. Ate whatever there was at the house. Then he decided on his next plan, what he was going to do next. He was going to go to Georgia and visit his ex-wife. So he loaded up the children into the minivan along with the dead mother and disposed of whatever furniture was in the home, leaving some junk behind and cat litter everywhere. The intermediate period of time, though, the landlord had started eviction notice proceedings to get him out of the home because he hadn't paid the rent. The following Saturday is when the welfare check was called into the police department. The police department tried to call the number at the home, but it was disconnected. So they sent an officer out to the home the following Monday to look in on the family to see if there was anything, awry. The officers showed up. The house was pretty much clean because that weekend was a weekend that the landlord had stopped by and had hired someone to go in and clean the house out of whatever was left there. The landlord thinking the family just skipped out of town. So did the police. They just figured, like so many other times, it happened daily here in America and around the world. The family couldn't pay their bills, so they just skipped out. They were gone. When the police came and looked in the window and checked around the property, there was nothing there. So no further report was needed. It just looked like the family skipped out. Michael Wayne Jones Jr. arrived at his ex-wife's house in Georgia, pulled the minivan into the driveway, went inside, spent the night with her. Did he have a sexual relationship with his ex-wife still? I don't know. Maybe. Woke up the next morning, ate breakfast, and left. With 4 dead children and his dead wife in the back of the minivan. This is on the 2nd of September. Between September 2nd and the 15th. His whereabouts, where he went, what did he do, is up in the air. We can try to believe what he had to say, but do we really believe anything he has to say at that point? On the 15th of September is when he was involved in a car accident. The local police department showed up along with a state patrol officer because of the jurisdiction and the area where the accident happened. And they looked at the officer as he was standing outside of his vehicle and said to the officer that his wife was dead in the vehicle and he may want to arrest him, put cuffs on him. When the officer checked on his wife, he could tell that she had been dead for a good period of time. I won't get into the grotesque nature of how a body looks after it's been dead for 2 weeks. But it's obvious to anyone who has ever seen a body that has been dead for that long. They arrested him and they took him back to the police department. And there, he gave them the bombshell. He killed all 4 kids, and he'd be more than happy to show them where he disposed of their bodies. The police, reeling from that, agreed. Handcuffed him, put shackles on him, loaded him up into an SUV, and took him out to the area where he disposed of the bodies of the 4 children. Then they went back to the police department, where he gave the following statement to the police and detectives. I don't know, just everything mounted up and it seemed like the way out for his answer of why he killed all the children and his wife. Michael Wayne Jones Jr. has now been charged with 4 counts of premeditated murder in the 1st degree and 1 count of 2nd-degree murder for his wife. In the state of Florida, 1 count of premeditated murder in the 1st degree brings the possibility of the death penalty. Will the DA seek the death penalty? Or will the DA, in this case, go for life without the possibility of parole? We don't know. It's too early in the case to know for sure. Will Michael Wayne Jones Jr. fight this case? Or will Michael Wayne Jones Jr. take a plea deal to keep the needle out of his arm, where he'd spend the rest of his life rotting, wasting away forever? Make the best of it. Stay safe out there.